Our friend's marriage is toxic and he refuses to see the red flags. Like this one? This is a tale about my fiance's friend's wedding day and the marriage that followed. So many things happened within this couple's relationship that it's just insane. These are just some points of major things that have happened. By the way, this comes from user ThinkBodybuilder20 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I don't have a problem with any of the age gaps that are given in this story. I have a problem with the lack of maturity from these people. All of our ages today, to give some context: myself, 25 female, my fiance, 30 male, the groom, 28 male, and the bride, 33 female. Through this post, I will be calling the bride and groom as such, just to keep things easy. They met and started dating in 2021, I believe. Some of these events happened before, during, and after the wedding, and I'll put it in chronological order. My fiance, the best friend and later the groom's best man, had explicitly expressed to the groom that he didn't like the bride. This was because she was such a contrast compared to the groom's personalities, and they had conflicting moral values between each other as a couple. The groom is simple, he's slightly autistic, and he's a very sweet guy. The bride is about 5 or 6 years older than him, but acts like she's only 21 and wants to party like she's in a frat. She goes out partying and drinking every weekend without her now husband. She spends absurd amounts of money and refuses to disclose with him how much she's spending. She's very self-centered. I would even describe her as an attention or. All right, bullet point number 2. That was a long bullet point. The groom is not allowed to have any privacy or secrets. The bride has to know where he is 24/7. This was a rule back when they were dating. If she wants anything, he had to respond within 5 minutes. If he didn't get back to her immediately, she freaks out and starts calling and texting him nonstop until he answered the phone. Usually, she wouldn't have a good reason and just wanted his attention because she was bored. She would claim to have a panic attack if he didn't answer on the first call and blame him for her high emotions. She always says that the panic attacks are because she was so stressed that she couldn't reach him and thought something bad was happening. She'd say he needed him on call for her own peace of mind. As a side note, he's one of the most loyal people you'll ever meet. He's always got your back. He's never once done anything unfaithful in any relationship. Only has eyes for his wife, so there's no way this could be due to past infidelity on his part. I think this is her own projection, but we'll talk more about that in a minute.
This guy seems like the guy on the weekends. You know what he's doing? Playing Super Smash with the bros and building Legos.
Building Legos and playing Smash Bros.
Wow, that sounds like my kind of guy.
This is Keon. I don't know.
That's literally Keon.
Keon is
literally
multitasker,
me.
though. I feel like, but Keon, you're a little slick, though.
Yeah.
Keon is slick with it, for sure.
Yeah, he's a little slick with it.
We have back-to-back parentheses, by the way. That was a parenthesis. Now we have another one. Another important note. Usually when she's going out drinking with friends, it's not in the town we all live in. She usually drives back to her hometown, which is about an hour's drive from here. She then spends the whole weekend with her friends and barely has any communication with her now husband. Bullet point number 3. The bride expected her privacy and secrets unconditionally. She refuses to have any contact with him if she's out with her friends in any capacity. She gets frustrated and complains openly in front of their friends, family, and even strangers that he tries to text her at any point during her evening. Usually her evenings are spent out drinking with her friends and trying to get hit on by other people. She openly flirts with men at the bar. She also only wears super revealing clothing when she'd flirt with people at these bars. This super low plunge neckline on a skin-tight, brightly colored dress. And this dress barely covers her butt, like it slides up every time she sits or bends. She always claimed it was because she was just trying to get free drinks to save money, but I don't buy it. I wouldn't flirt with somebody for free drinks if I was in a relationship with someone else, but that's just me and my morals. Good for you, OP. Those are the right morals.
I don't like that.
You don't like that?
Oh, I don't like what she's doing.
Oh, I thought you were saying, like, I don't know, I think you should be able to flirt with anybody while you're in a relationship.
No, I don't drink anyway, so I wouldn't flirt for someone to get free drinks, but.
Yeah, I definitely don't like any of the wife's behavior at all.
This is icky, wiki.
Now, we are on to the wedding.
Oh, no.
Their wedding took place in spring of 2023. On the wedding day, the bride refused to communicate with anyone outside of her wedding party. She, quote, wanted to live in the moment, and telling people what to do would ruin that moment for her. And I can understand and respect that to a certain degree. However, couldn't get a hold of her at all. At first, we had some questions about setting up decorations for the wedding and reception. She had left vague directions, but it was hard to understand. Like, she thought there would be more room for the number of tables she had us set up. There was no way we'd fit all the tables and chairs in the room. Very early in the morning, she began to refuse any phone call or text from anyone. One of her bridesmaids was supposed to be the point of communication, but got super intoxicated before the wedding.
Oh, wow.
We think she just forgot. We would call both of them to try and get an answer out of the bride. It was so stressful and frustrating, especially when she was 45 minutes late to her own wedding with no communication. Not gonna lie, I genuinely thought she stood up the groom last minute, which from the sound of it would probably be the best situation for the groom.
No. She just wants to live in the moment. She doesn't want to tell anyone what to do or when to go.
I just want to live in the moment and be AWOL on the day of my own wedding.
I'm living my final free moments. That's what she's doing. She's in a field with butterflies.
She's dancing through the fields
with
of
tulips.
flowers.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about her.
Flirting with strangers as she walks by them.
Yeah, but she's committed. She won't do anything.
Another bullet point number 4. Here's some information on why the bride showed up 40 minutes late to her own wedding.
Okay, I'm just going to say it real quick. She met with a spicy dancer the night before, and that's what she's dealing with right now. That's my conspiracy theory.
Ah, the conspiracy theory. Spicy dancer.
Yep.
Here's some information on why the bride showed up 45 minutes late to her own wedding. She still wasn't even dressed or fully done with hair and makeup. They had been drinking since 9 a.m.-ish, and the ceremony didn't start until 3. So they had lots of champagne, and she was wasted and wobbling the whole time. She almost slipped in the bathroom trying to get into her dress with her bridesmaids, also wastedly giggling. She was swaying while saying her vows, and I was genuinely worried she would fall over. She kept swaying slightly the whole night. If my bride is like getting plastered before... Look, you do that after the wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Before the ceremony? I'm like, you clearly don't want to do this. We're done.
No, we're definitely done.
Or we're reassessing at the very least.
Yeah.
These ladies also drove 30 minutes to the venue and were all intoxicated. Yikes. I'm so glad they didn't crash. Guys, never do that.
Please don't do
not
that.
drink and vroom vroom. Do not do that.
Don't do it. No.
Ever. There's never an excuse.
Never.
No vroom vroom skirt.
Stop it, Keon. They all continued to drink the rest of the night, and from what I understand, they didn't have a very fun time the next morning. On to the bride's obsession. I knew that the bride had an obsession, but I didn't realize how extreme it was. She had always talked about how much she loved zebras. Okay. She had full arm and leg sleeve tattoos of penguins. Think big, bold, and bright colors. But penguins are black and white. What are we talking about?
Hey, at least she's honest, you know?
Well, I guess some of the penguins have more than black and white. Like the Rockefeller penguins have the little yellow eyebrows. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
I know what you're talking about.
Cody's me, bro.
Just let me be me.
Think big and bold, bright colors. She always wears zebra on her shirts, pants, and hats. I found out about her special room.
Well,
I don't
want to know about the special room.
Apparently, in their apartment, she had designated one of the bedrooms to be her zebra room. I thought maybe she had some little toys or something in there from childhood, but nope. She just has an entire second bedroom filled with zebra-themed stuff. There are shelves that go from ceiling to floor on every wall full of zebra memorabilia, and I'm talking stuffed animals, snow globes, coffee mugs, t-shirts, slippers, beanies, you name it. She took up an entire bedroom with all of this stuff, plus a small electric piano, and refused to let her now husband put anything of his in that room. This sounds like the lady from the Tiger King, Carol, where she had like all the tiger print stuff. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, look, I fully support you having a zebra room, right? I don't know.
Dude, you're right.
Is it a red flag entirely?
You're right.
I think maybe the red flag is that you just have a zebra room and you don't do anything else with it. Like if you live streamed in there, if you had like a persona that you did
but it's
online,
just there for her wants and needs.
Just having a zebra room just because is the most wild thing I've read in a long time.
Yeah.
I went over to their apartment for the first time and saw firsthand the zebra takeover. There were zebras throughout their entire apartment. Every throw pillow had a zebra on it. Every blanket had this animal. There were zebras on everything. Wow. Next bullet point. While at their apartment for the first time, I also noticed the bride had several photos up. Lots of framed photos of her with her family and friends. I only saw one picture of the bride and groom together on their wedding day. All of the other pictures were just of the bride and her people. If the groom hadn't been the one to open the door, I would have never guessed he even lived there. The entire apartment was decorated to her liking alone. He had one small corner in the living room next to the front door where he had his computer and some old World War II memorabilia. He likes history and historic firearms. This is the match made in my nightmares. He's like his little computer nook and like his World War II memorabilia is just shoved in a corner of this zebra house. I'm just seeing the walls painted like black and white with like you walk in there and you're like, I can't tell where one room ends and the other begins. Like, okay. He got one corner right next to the front door, and she has the whole rest of the apartment. She also has a bad habit of adopting animals for attention. What I mean by this is she buys exotic animals and then takes them out to the bars when she's trying to get free drinks. She does it as a way of attention seeking. I mean, honestly, that just low-key sounds kind of cool as long as you're taking care of the animals properly. For a long time, she had a big python. She would wrap this thing around her neck all times of the year and carry it around. Mind you, we also live in a state where we experience extremes of all 4 seasons. I'm talking negative degree weather in the winter and over 100 degrees in the summer. This animal was constantly being paraded around. All right, so that's not cool. Clearly not actually taking care of the animals well. So
this is crazy.
You almost had me, but you're not taking care of the animals. She did the same thing as the python with a bearded dragon and with ferrets. She ended up having 3 ferrets at once, plus a very poorly trained dog. This terrier mutt with a lot of energy. She'd take them out and show them all off. At the time of posting this, she had eventually gotten rid of all of her reptiles, was down to only 1 ferret and still had the crazy dog, and now decided to adopt a cat as a way to process her emotions after losing a parental figure. I understand that people process grief in different ways, but she immediately turned around and adopted this cat after her husband specifically said no more animal. So she just doesn't respect her husband's.
This is an animal
as a human.
This is a cat.
It's
Crazy?
a cat. It takes care of itself.
Yeah. Look at it. It's bathing itself. look. It's just hair. That's not even a mess. It's just a hairball.
Good point, right?
Yeah.
My cat does my taxes.
Never.
What? Your cat doesn't do your taxes? Why are you all looking at me like I'm crazy?
No, I feel like Garfield would do taxes if he had to do anything.
Yeah, if he wasn't busy eating lasagna. Okay, we're going. Important note, the groom never wanted pets. He just doesn't like to have animals in the apartment, but she came with the ferrets and the dog, and he did not sign up for that cat. On now to secret credit cards. Dude, it just never stops. It never stops.
Well, how else is she going to fund all of her cool exotic animals and her zebra memorabilia?
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for her to buy an actual zebra.
Yeah, and she's got to save money because she has to flirt to get drinks because she already maxed out all her credit cards.
Secret credit cards. About 10 months after the wedding, the groom calls my fiance. He's upset and doesn't know what to do. The groom just had someone from a collection agency show up at the apartment, stating that his new bride had large amounts of credit card debt. He didn't even know she had this credit card. Apparently, she had secret credit cards that she never told him about. She claimed she never thought it was important to tell him since they weren't combining most of their finances. She also said that she didn't use some of them and they just got kind of lost in her mind. She forgot about them. That it was just sitting with all the other cards. That's why they were never paid off. By this point, they each had their individual accounts and now one joint account where they would put money in to pay bill. After talking more, we later found out that she started putting less and less money into the joint account and was expecting him to cover most of their finances. She would use the money that she was hiding to go on spontaneous trips and continued bar hopping with all of her friends. I try to stay out of people's personal financial decisions, but from my understanding, the groom ended up dipping into his personal savings, which they were using to save up for a home, and used that to pay off her credit card debt. From what I've been told, the bride didn't have to pay any of the debt from her personal account. She had no consequences for any of her actions, except for some embarrassment because people found out. But even that embarrassment was short-lived because she continues making the same financial decisions to this day. At the time of writing this, they have had their 1-year marriage anniversary. The groom has completely surrendered his account to her, meaning she has complete control over all of their finances?
Oh no. No.
Oh my God, she's going to start a zebra farm.
Brother, why do we have a wet toast spine? Where did it go? We need to find it, and we need to let it be still for 2 weeks as sourdough.
Yeah, we need to toast it, and then make it sourdough, and then toast it again.
Yes. What?
Yeah. At this point, I think we need like surgical reconstruction. We need to put some rebar in there. Because it's firm up.
You know.
A year they've been together.
But we know that she has a problem with her finances. Why the frick
because
why does he not do that? What is happening here? Yeah, save this man, please.
Whipped. I don't know. I mean, we haven't heard a lot about him. We've only heard about his horrendous wife.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like he's a guy. Maybe he didn't have a lot of options. He sees this as this is the only opportunity I'll ever have. Which, guys, that's never true. Anyone out there who thinks that you only have one shot, it's not true. Don't listen to Eminem. You have more than one shot. This means that she has complete control of all of their finances. He doesn't even look at it anymore. He has absolutely no idea how much money is going into the shared account to pay off bills and how much money is going into savings. He has to now ask her before he can spend any money at all. This includes groceries, clothes, necessities, fun stuff, or luxuries. He's not allowed to buy any new video games or new parts for his hobbies. Sometimes he's not even allowed to hang out with friends because it's too much gas money.
Maybe he just likes this life, you know?
Yeah, he likes. Never mind.
He's so.
I can't say how I actually feel about
He's
this.
submissive.
Yeah, maybe he just likes this life, man. I don't know.
Babe, can I please get some chicken noodle soup?
No,
Man.
I just want some chicken noodle soup, and he
Nope.
can't even have it.
No, my husband's tough, and he toughs it out. We're not
Oh my
weak
God.
with chicken soup in this house.
This dude's gonna be eating peanut butter and crackers for the rest of his life.
However, here comes another huge double standard. The bride is able to spend hundreds of dollars in a week on new clothes and makeup. She's constantly posting new outfits on social media and new makeup looks. I'm just imagining her face like painted like she's got zebra face paint on. She's blowing hundreds of dollars on just black and white grease paint makeup.
She got her birthday makeup on every weekend going out. Oh man.
She's also posting all these different hairstyles, things like getting bangs spontaneously or getting your hair professionally braided with extensions. I looked up the beautician she goes to for these braids, and they're not cheap. They are high quality and definitely not cheap. At least $500 for the braids. And that's not including the brightly colored extensions that get put in. The reason I point this out is because when she went through a phase where she was like getting a new set of braids every 2 to 4 weeks, like all new colors and patterns, this couple is basically living paycheck to paycheck, mind you. Dude.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
And just not saying that the wife is not like, good with their job, but I'm betting you this guy has a nice job. He's able to provide, and I don't think I don't know what her job. I would like to know what the job situation is. I'm not going to assume, but I would like it.
He has a nice job. I mean, it depends on their living situation, but literally, whatever it is, they've got it budgeted paycheck to paycheck.
Well,
I don't know how true that is,
though. Even if he did have a nice job, she can still spend as much money as you want because she clearly has an addiction to spend money. So who cares how much they have? You can still live paycheck if you live this way.
Yeah, I mean, if you just spend everything that you make.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that'll get you living paycheck to paycheck. At a very long story made as short as possible, the maid of honor from the bride's wedding broke up with her long-term boyfriend of about 5 years. I don't know why. It was a messy breakup. She was about 48 while he was about 26 at the time of the wedding. Neither one handled the breakup very well. The ex-boyfriend called the groom after the breakup. He told the groom that when she'd go to her hometown, he'd see the bride leaving bars with random guys, hooking up in cars, and then coming back in to continue drinking with her friends. You don't say, oh, the girl who's driving an hour out of town and then like drinking with her friends at every opportunity? And it doesn't let her husband have a shred of autonomy?
And he's only telling him this after the breakup. After she's been doing this for years.
Unbelievable.
What?
Best man should have literally just made him get lost. Like just dropped him off in a field somewhere and been like, you'll thank me for this later, I swear.
Yeah.
The guy would often be the designated driver to the bride and the maid of honor. This way the ladies could get, turbo wasted and not pay for an Uber. Oh my God, these people just, ugh. He didn't have any evidence like pictures or videos. He even admitted that he often covered for the bride so that she could get it on with random dudes.
I think he likes this, man. You know, he doesn't know about this. I think he just like how can you be so like blind that you don't understand that this is just not good?
He's just unbothered. You know what he is? He's the chill guy meme.
Just put the fact.
He's just a chill guy who doesn't care that his wife cheats on him.
You're giving zebras a bad name.
Yeah, truly. Like I refuse to let zebras be.
Dude,
I won't let you taint zebras in my head.
This woman is insane.
Yeah, this is. He's just a chill guy who doesn't mind
No,
about anything.
no. He's a piggy bank. He's a piggy bank. That's what he is.
I don't believe that, dude.
That-
I think it would
to
be more of
her,
a
he
focus.
is.
I think it'd be more of a
No.
focus.
She's
okay, just
using
for-
him as a piggy bank.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank
of
you.
course.
Everyone's calling her the zebra harlot.
Zebra harlot. Yeah. The groom didn't believe any of these stories. He then yelled at him over the phone, hung up, and blocked him. The guy never even reached out after that. The groom came over immediately after to tell my fiance and I all about this crazy accusation. I felt so sick to my stomach because it honestly made sense that she would go out and cheat on him. I couldn't look him in the eye. We have all tried to talk to him about things like this in the past, specifically the credit card problems, as examples to her controlling nature. We've pointed out how it's super toxic, how she can do whatever she wants with no accountability, and he's expected to lay everything out for her and be at her beck and call. Every time we have these conversations with him, he shuts us down or defends her. He claims it's not her fault, and she just has this kind of personality, or she just doesn't think things through. He basically has the view that if something were to happen, it would be the other person's fault. Like his wife can do no wrong. That if she was to sleep with someone and we had proof, he would find a way to blame the guy she was hooking up with. He'd find some way to justify his wife's actions and make it seem like she's innocent in all this. He's in so deep, we can't pull him out.
That's so hard.
Oh, man.
That's so. Okay, little side tangent. If I had a friend like this, and I was like, dude, this woman's not treating you right. You got to get out. You got to get out. You got to get out. And he always defends her. I might start to go low contact with that friend because he lost himself. I mean, I'll be there for him whenever they break up and he finally comes to himself. But I can't be around someone like this.
I don't know, man. Like,
I can't do that. If you
I
were
would-
getting like, carried around like this and you were being treated this way and I was like, Dakota, get out. And you kept putting yourself under this, I'd be like, I don't know if I can like watch this happen. And my heart breaks every time this happens to
No,
you.
I
Yeah,
side with that.
truly.
You know why? Because guess what? That's not your friend anymore.
No.
It's a different
No.
person.
yeah.
It's a whole different person.
Well, I think maybe I would I don't know. I think I'm kind of agreeing halfway. I think I would just be like, I'm never hanging out with your wife. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
But I see where you're coming from. You can still be there for him
Yeah.
whenever he hits rock
I
bottom.
would constantly be there just being like,
Yeah.
trying to
with
somehow
that.
inception an idea into his brain
Yep.
that his wife sucks.
Yeah. But he's
Um,
not getting it, and I would just be like, I can't hang out with you anymore.
Yeah,
I can't do this.
at some point you got to call
Because
it.
it's gonna get to you. It's gonna get to you one day.
Before somebody says, I need to help out and get him out of there, he does have a history of immediately cutting people out of his life. Whoa. Man, I love it when we're right on OP's like
Train of thought.
neurons, like, the same thought.
Yeah.
If he doesn't like what they're saying, he's done. I mean, he's done this on many occasions for much pettier things. An example would be one time someone forgot to invite him to dinner, like a super small group of friends going to get dinner at a barbecue chain restaurant. The groom was so salty about it. He cut the guy out of his life and has never talked to him since. He always talks about him in such an awful way. He genuinely thinks that this guy is out to get him solely because he wasn't invited to one dinner with a couple of other people. The groom also wasn't even living in the same town at this time. It's all really unfortunate, and it's really hard for my fiance. He really wants to help his friend out and can see all these behaviors and things happening because he's on the outside. It's just unfortunate that the groom is so dedicated that he can't see any of the red flags that are flying constantly in front of his face.
Yeah, and also early in the story, he has. They did say that he is autistic.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't
Which
know.
could play into that.
It could play into it. I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, he's autistic. He doesn't know emotion. Blah, blah, blah.
But
I
that
didn't wanna-
definitely that definitely would track on like not really picking up social cues on
Yeah.
on like and the loyalty like but anyway,
Do you think he's getting he's already brainwashed, or it's just manipulation at such a high degree that like he doesn't know what's going on? Maybe that's the same thing, but I don't know.
He's just brainwashed. He's
Yeah.
brainwashed.
I think he's under the spell of the zebra harlot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of the
But you know who's
Yeah.
not under the spell of the zebra harlot?
what?
Everybody in this room, especially when we are going live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and TikTok. All you got to do is tap our profile and you are in. And if you're watching this in the future, we might even be live right now. But before you go check on that, stick with us because we're about to wrap this story up. There is a little bit left. I mean, I think the clear solution is this guy needs to leave.
This guy needs to leave.
But
He's
how
not
do you get him
listening.
to see
You
the
need to
light?
leave him.
Do you like
Don't be. I could not.
I'm
be friends with
brainstorming. I'm brainstorming. You make a Finsta. Okay. You make a Finsta of another girl, and you try to get him to see that mate. Because I'm thinking that, from my perspective, this guy is so locked into this one relationship with this one woman, and he just in his head is like, I'll never be able to have another one.
Oh, no. He only has eyes for her. One, first off, and second off, she's so controlling that she's gonna clock that.
Boys trip. I'm calling
And
it.
yeah,
he needs a boys trip.
He needs a boys trip.
He needs a boys trip. At least maybe a week, like
Away from her.
vacation, just to maybe set his mind straight. Of like,
Hey man,
whoa,
I think you
no
need,
phones too. No phones, because she's gonna be hitting him up the whole freaking time.
you need to
Go camping.
conspire
go camping.
to get a girl to hit on him and make him realize he needs to realize
he's
that
not gonna-
he's
he's-
better than this zebra harlot.
He is better than this,
He
but
thinks that
that's not
she's
gonna help.
The pinnacle.
A distraction's not gonna help. He's not gonna realize that, and he does not have. He doesn't have eyes for anyone else. We've already know that.
Oh, this is
I don't
so
think he's gonna do that.
hard.
He's not gonna do that. He needs to leave. He needs to come to the truth. The only thing is the truth, not a distraction. The truth.
Right. And he'd be really mad when he found out that it was fake anyway. God. Oh. Oh. Oh man. I don't know what you can do.
He's just trying to live a simple life.
Okay, let's finish this story. Let's see how this goes. But please tell me that he just wakes up one day and hates zebras. I get that love is blind sometimes, but this is a bit too much in my opinion. The groom has the capability and understanding that if this was happening to anyone else, he would recognize that it was toxic behavior and a bad relationship. But because it's happening in his marriage, he can't see any of it. Or if he does, he starts defending it, claiming that she just doesn't know what she's doing is wrong, or that she'd never be like that. We have such open communication. We're finally at a point where we're just letting them figure it out. We'll be there if the groom ever sees the light, like Riley said. We'll be there to support him in whatever way we can. As for the bride, we try and keep our distance from her. And that is the end of that story.